That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
Hello and welcome to Content and Capable, a podcast where I try to figure out what it means to really be an adult. Today I spoke to Alex and Zach of My Cabbages about their experiences moving from time to time, whether that was short distances or long distances, and the effects that that's had on them and their lives. Anyway, we better get started.
Yes, let's
because
do this.
Yeah. Oh, we're not started? Was this not your meandering intro that...
This is my meandering intro, which then ends up being the outro.
Yeah, right.
It's great. It's like I've just put the episode 2 up, and at the very end, as I'm doing my plugs, the fire alarm goes off.
Oh no!
And I was going to put that as like my funny outro. And I was like, no, it's baked into the episode now. I can't like change it. It's there.
Well,
it's not changing.
But it's
goodbye,
so on
everyone.
brand.
It's been a great show. We've had a lot of fun, and goodbye. There you go. There's your outro.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the fire alarm going off while trying to balance like a new sibling and also recording your podcast and editing is like perfectly on brand. It's like,
yeah.
I'm doing the best I can, and life throws you all of the curveballs.
Yeah, there was a reason why I'm recording at least a month in advance at this stage.
That's
Wow.
great.
Because burnout is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we're very, very honored to be guests. So thank you for having us.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for coming along. It's been really awesome. I haven't actually listened to the podcast yet. Guilty me.
Well,
It's okay.
so we have to be disclaimer adults and admit something to you that life has been crazy, and we haven't actually got a chance to listen to your first episode either. We're both very looking forward to it, but it has not happened just yet.
Oh, I'm not surprised whatsoever. The drama with Apple Podcasts is killing my brain.
Oh, I can't.
And like,
believe-
I'm supposed to have a job interview on Wednesday, but I've tried to reschedule it, and the lady hasn't gotten back to me. I've called her multiple times, and she just never gets back to me.
Oh no.
I had an interview. We'll get into it in the episode. I don't want to save it for that. But let's
Oh,
get
we're
this
in.
started.
We're in. We did our
Great.
intro.
Now we're in the Marin. Great. Awesome. We're off to the races, folks.
Alex did the intro for me. I didn't even need to.
There
Oh, I
you go.
did.
So yeah, we recently went through a move that was kind of hell and kind of pretty streamlined, but also last forever. It was like a death by a million cuts kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm very type A. Alex.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, you do keep cutting out. I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe it's like a noise suppression thing. I'll like turn.
I'll see
Up
if I
your
can
guys'
disable
volume.
it on mine. Yeah. Turn it off. All right. Now you should be able to hear a lot.
Okay, am I cutting in and out now?
No, you're not.
Great.
That's perfect.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you for saying something.
No, I was speaking and I saw you speking. I'm like, no, that's not working.
It's not working. So I, Alex, am very much a type A personality, and I actually described my anxiety in one really succinct thing on our Discord the other day, which is I get anxious, so I make a plan, and then when the thing gets here that I've planned so extensively for, I get super stressed out that I don't have enough free time because I've overplanned things. And so that's kind of like, how it was. We were coming out of right around 1 year of being in quarantine because of COVID, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the entire month of May, we're moving to not just a new city, but a new state. And we're going to plan everything, and it's just, we're going to stage it out instead of doing it all in one weekend. And that's just, it was the smartest decision we made, but at the same time, it dragged on forever.
Oh, yeah. And, how far did you guys move?
Great question.
We moved, it was I don't know how many
You can
miles.
speak in
It was like
miles.
a 5-hour trip. 4 or 5
5
hour
hours.
trip.
Well, yeah, it's about 4, so it's about just over. It's like around 220 miles.
Yeah.
So from
So
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all the way across and down into Baltimore, Maryland, which is much closer to the coast, the East Coast.
just makes me think of Hairspray every time you say Baltimore.
Good morning,
I'm like,
Baltimore.
yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
My first experience with that movie was it was in French because my aunt was learning French at the time. And so
Okay.
I watched Hairspray in French.
I can never say that
wow.
I've done that. I've watched it in only the typical American on brand. I've only watched it in English.
So, completely random tangent based solely on France, but France has been putting out some bangers in the animation field recently, if folks aren't aware.
Oh.
French animation is fucking cool.
I'm going to have to go watch it now.
There's
I
some
hope it's as
beautiful
good as
stuff
Japanese.
that I will definitely link you to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go look at that after I watch all the Barbie stuff. That's a sneak peek for next week.
Oh my god, I love all the Barbie movies, and I recorded on a sister podcast today, no spoilers, but I bonded with one of the other hosts over their insane amount of Barbies, and it was great.
Oh, I love like the whole like idea of Barbie. I think it's just an awesome concept that just keeps giving more and more the further we get along with it.
I feel like I watched... I don't know. I had like a very neutral opinion of Barbie, and then Alex showed me a documentary, and I was like, "Oh, Barbie's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat."
Yeah.
So what, it was on
She
Hulu,
kicks
right?
ass. She's been criticized her entire life.
What's the name of the documentary? Let's plug it.
Yeah, how about you though, Sam? What is the furthest, or have you
They-
moved recently?
What's the name of the documentary?
The documentary, it's like the making of Barbie or something, or like Tiny Shoulders, I
Yeah.
think it's called.
Tiny Shoulders. There you go.
Tiny
That's a cool
shoulders. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's basically it goes along the history of Barbie and the evolution of the idea, and like how girls had never had anything but like paper dolls to play with, and how even when Barbie came out, she was controversial and then just was always breaking barriers, but over the years has also been criticized for being like too small and like having like unrealistic beauty ideals for girls. And so this was about the entire rebranding of Barbie back in like 2016, where they had different, like they completely literally broke the mold and came out with all the different sizes and body types, and it was really well received.
Great.
Yeah, and all the Barbie content is just amazing. Anyway, got to save that for next week's episode.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. You don't want to steal your thunder. Yeah, so this is, I guess, we're here to talk about our move. We're here to bitch about our move. Because our
Yeah,
move
yeah.
was-
Is swearing allowed on your podcast or no?
So welcome to the Movie Night Crew Network, where swearing is just a fact of life.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Swearing is the fucked of life.
Yeah, the fucked of life.
Yeah, well, you
Perfect.
were just describing our move. Are we going to talk at all about moves that you've done, or is it going to be you asking us
Well,
questions?
yeah, let's do both. So
Great.
I think, Alex, you were trying to ask me before what was the furthest I've moved.
Yeah.
When I was, it was 2004, so I was 3. We moved just about double the distance that you moved.
Okay.
Between Sydney and Brisbane. So my parents went to university in Sydney, met each other in Sydney, got married in Sydney, had me and my brothers in Sydney, and then it got way too expensive to live there. Like the median house price in Sydney is $1 million.
Yeah, Sydney is
is
an insanely expensive place to live.
Oh.
Fucked up. And Brisbane's not far behind, let's be honest. But so moved up to Brisbane, closer to mum's family and bits and pieces. I do not remember that move.
Crazy
other
young.
than the fact that from photos from when I was living down there and up here, a lot of furniture made it up. And I'm not sure how, because we had by no means had much money at all. So, But yeah, it was... that was the furthest I moved, but my most recent move was actually out of my grandparents' place to the place I'm in now.
Nice.
Which is... It's about an hour's drive. It's like... How many kilometres would that be? That's 50 kilometres, which is about 25, 30 miles away. An hour because traffic and stupid road network. But I decided I was going to do it in one day. One day, that's it. Everything.
You did the opposite of what we did.
See, I feel like they have their... We'll talk about these. The
pro strategy.
The time dilation of moves. How stretching it out has its benefits and compressing it also has its benefits.
100%. Like, the move before, when I moved out of my parents' place and into my grandparents' place, I wasn't quite sure whether it was going to be for 2 weeks or for 2 years. So when I first moved, I just had bags of clothes and a book or two and obviously all my computer stuff so I could do my university work. And then as I realized that I was going to spend longer and longer there, I started moving other things. So started taking books, my drone, other bits and pieces, all my filing cabinet stuff, which at that time wasn't officially in a filing cabinet. It was just a pile of documents that really should have been locked up somewhere.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Both of them have got their pros and cons. Have you guys done both?
We kind of did, yeah. So our first move, we moved in together into our first house. It was both of our first time living with a significant other.
So we gotta back up just a second and talk briefly about when I got to Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah.
I moved to Pittsburgh to be closer to a group of friends that I had made and sort of cultivated friendships with in that area, and moved in with my longtime buddy, whom I've known for many, many years. Always wanted to roommate with him again. We roomed in pre-college, which is where we met. And I moved basically in a day. I crammed as much as I could into a Honda CRV. And that included my bird's full-size cage, which left little room for other things.
Very much.
And my bird as well. And a passenger.
Crazy.
So,
by the way, the bird's very small. He's adorable. His name's Rory. He's a green peak conure, but he's not a big like parrot. He's a tiny little parrot.
He's a little scamp.
Yeah.
So I moved to Pittsburgh, was bouncing around for a while, met Alex. We eventually moved in together. That's where Alex is now.
Yeah.
But there's a specific reason that I went on that tangent, and I'll think of it while you're talking. Go.
I mean, I think it's important to like why we went through with this move and how it was, you know, probably, you know, difficult for multiple reasons. But I moved to Pittsburgh in 2014 for graduate school to get my master's in public health. So I have been in Pittsburgh for much longer. So going on 7 years, I had my first job there. But yeah, when we moved in together, we kind of did, to your point, Sam, we did it probably across a weekend. So we got a rental truck and we moved all of Zach's stuff in, like the night before. I think it was on
why I went
Friday evening.
That's why I went on that tangent. This group of friends, the thing that they do,
Friend Zone Moving Company.
They call it the Friend Zone Moving Company, and everyone helps everyone move. And so if everyone comes and helps,
so good.
If everyone comes and everyone helps, that means that when it's your turn to move, everyone is going to come and help, and it's going to make your move 1,000 times easier. And so that's why everybody comes. They come to help the move so that when it's their turn, and it will be their turn, people will show up.
Yeah.
So we moved.
We have a whole network of friends. It was amazing.
We must have had 12 to 15 people there, like, moving shit for us, like, helping us out. We moved all of my stuff in, like, an hour and a half, and we moved all of her stuff in, like, 2.5 hours.
Wow. That's, like, amazing.
I know.
How do you guys get, like, 15 people all doing something, like, because I'm a musician, so a lot of the stuff I do at the moment is moving gear from place to place. It is the stupidest task. It's like moving, but more stressful and with time constraints.
Right.
And
it's
like we're planning our next like gig, and we've made the decision to not have everyone turn up because too many people just weren't doing anything.
Yeah, it's honestly chaos, but it's the Friend Zone Moving Company, not the Friend Zone Packing Company. And Zach was much more like, he has, first of all, very few items, whereas I have lived on my own since university when I was getting my first degree. And so I've accumulated a lot more furniture, a lot more like life things. So moving me took much longer.
Our house was like the apartment that Scott Pilgrim shares with his roommate, that like 90% of the shit is owned by his roommate. Just like one thing on the corner there is Scott's. Yeah. That was us.
So, I mean, it was trying to get 15 people. Like, there is nothing. And honestly, like, the anxiety for me was very high because, like, I hadn't finished packing, but they were just throwing stuff in boxes. And, like, so at that point, it's like, you don't know what's going where. It's going to be surprises. And, like, I hadn't really cleaned, and people had some allergies. So some friends actually left. So, yeah, it was chaos, but we did it. And we couldn't have done it without them. And honestly, one of the pro tips, and we can say this for both of our moves, when we rented the rental truck, I initially had booked like a medium size, like kind of box truck. But when we showed up, it's to the U-Haul. That's like the company name. They had, only thing they had was a 26-foot long truck, which is huge. Yeah, it's their biggest size. And I was like, oh, well, I guess having extra time, like, won't matter, or extra space. And it turns out we needed
every inch of that truck. If we had gotten the previous one, there's no way all of our shit would have fit in it.
So we had a pretty good idea when we moved into our first place together how much stuff we had, and there was no way that either of us was going to feel comfortable driving a 26-foot long truck through the mountains.
No way.
All the way
because even though it's only 220 miles, like, it takes, like, you're going through the Appalachian Mountains and through tunnels. So it's a very hilly drive. And so I was like, we have to split it up. And so that kind of is what led us to our decision of breaking the move up across several months or several weeks, because there was no way we were going to be able to move all of our stuff at once, even with the decision of getting rid of a ton of furniture. And I'm sure we'll get to that.
It was like that.
Well, yeah.
That trailer for that new movie that's coming out, The Forever Purge. This was the Forever Move.
The Forever Move.
That's just where I feel so glad. Through the last few years of high school, Mum got sick and tired of the amount of stuff we had. So she went through each of our bedrooms, basically without our consent. But, you know, there wasn't anything, like, incriminating. And we knew that Mum was doing this. And, like...
Sure.
We knew to hide the things that we didn't want Mum to see before she came through the house. And but there was, like, one year where she decided she was going to purge everything. We used to have, like, a school uniform for every day of the week. But, like, things would get lost all the time. So Mum gave us one school uniform and a spare. That was it. You had 2 school uniforms per unit. Like, you had sports uniform and a day uniform and anyway. So, and she did the same with our clothes. She put all of, like, our pictures and special belongings into, like, boxes with our names on them. Go, you know, this is, like, your memories box. Put all, like, the important stuff in there. And for me, I don't like getting things. I feel really awkward accepting gifts. So I don't get a lot of things. So when I did move, I felt really glad because I put all of my clothes into a duffel bag and, like, a backpack, and that was all my clothes, besides some of my suits and things. And then all that I had was books and boxes and some other small bits and pieces, and what I'm sitting on right now, which is a swag, because that one time I went and crossed the desert in 2016.
What? That is a story that we need to hear maybe another time, but sounds pretty exciting.
It was...
Sam.
My dad has this tradition of like doing something big for your 16th birthday.
Uh-huh.
And so we went and crossed the Simpson Desert in Australia, which is, I think, the largest desert, from Alice Springs, where he grew up, out to Birdsville in Western Queensland and then back.
It's going to be like secondhand lines. Like through this podcast, we will slowly learn that Sam is some kind of crazy Australian folk hero. Oh, he's done all these amazing things, been on all these amazing adventures.
Not as much as some of my family, unfortunately. But yeah,
Don't
so
undersell
I felt
yourself.
really...
I'm sure you've been on some pretty amazing adventures.
Oh, I have.
I know,
mostly
I know
because
that
of my dad's side of the family.
You know Nicolas Cage personally. I know that for a fact, Sam. Don't deny it.
Okay. If you insist. I've got a lunch date with him later. But yeah, like I felt really, really glad that I didn't have things with me. So when I did move like out of my grandparents' place, I could do it in one weekend. And the thing that took up the most room was the bed.
Yeah.
Because
always does.
The way that my bed sits is like two mattresses. There's like the mattress and then the wheelie base, which is like a solid base. So you couldn't like dismantle it, which meant that I had to transport them one at a time. So I had to make 2 trips. And the big filing cabinet, which I stole from I didn't steal. I took from my parents' place because they weren't using it anymore.
Borrowed temporarily.
Well, it's permanently a hoe.
I don't know whether
they want it back. But yeah, so like I didn't have a huge amount of things, and so what I really worry is when I do move out. It looks like I'll be moving out in the next 6 to 12 months. But when I do move out again, because I've gotten like a bunch of extra things.
It's gonna be hard.
I also want to, I'm recording this podcast on my bed. Like the computer's on my bed. I'm sitting on the floor. I'd like to have a desk and a chair. That would be a start. But because, and if I do buy that, I've got to get it up onto the 3rd floor, and into my room, which is tiny. I think it might be 3 by 2 meters. No, it can't be 3 by 2 meters. Maybe it's 3 by 4. I don't know.
It's still tiny.
It's a tiny bedroom. I got to get it into the bedroom, but then I have to move it out. So it's like that thought of, do I buy it or do I just wait until I move into the more permanent place?
Just wait the next 6 to 12 months.
That is at least a favorable position to be in. But for me, the past few months have just been me walking around our place in Pittsburgh going, look at all this stuff. How is all this stuff gonna get out of this fucking house?
So we went from healthcare to children hurting themselves to trampolines to moving. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we're trampolining from topic to topic.
We're like Battle Royale,
it's
where
great.
the kids have to. Oh, that means something totally different now. That means like a video game where you have to. It's like Fortnite. But it was an old Japanese movie called Battle Royale. Anyway, I'm getting off in the weeds.
Yeah,
we're
that's
back. We're back to moving.
We're back. We're back to moving.
So this move was, overall, was it smarter than our last few moves? Yes. Was it hell on earth? Also, yeah.
I think honestly, though, in hindsight, now that it's over, I think that this move was like not as bad as the last one. I mean, it was a lot of work, but we got rid like everything. Like I said, our first move when we were merging 2 different households into one was pure chaos. Like we just threw everything in boxes and then just stuffed it into a truck and like prayed everything went well. Meanwhile, this move, even though it was a lot of work spread over time, I think that, we were much more strategic about it. Like we got rid of furniture. We got rid of things we didn't need. And, as
Yeah.
so there was a lot more work that went into it, but when we got here, it's just like it was nice opening a box knowing what was going to be inside.
Definitely.
And I think that it's like a really important thing to pace yourself. Like, obviously you guys had lives and jobs and stuff to do as well as move. So there was no way that you could just take a week out of your life to move everything.
Well, thank goodness. I mean, in hindsight, I guess, thank goodness. It obviously was very frustrating to me at the time, but, I'm a freelancer by trade, and I get my jobs job to job, and it's suited me. It's always been something that has worked. It obviously isn't a permanent solution, but it's a living, and work had pretty much dried up for me that month. It was a few weeks where nothing was coming in. None of my like fish hooks were landing anything, and I just had a week to just get up every day and put stuff in boxes and move the boxes around.
Yes, no, definitely.
And it's those little things that you think are, a source of potential stress, and like hindsight, like it worked out. Cause, we were able, like, I think the first trip, I came because the reason we're moving is because I got like my dream job in Baltimore working, in like the best public health like job I could have. And so we actually, Zach is, as he mentioned, he moved from Baltimore to Pittsburgh. So we actually are moving or have moved back in with his family, which I know is like not glorious for a lot of people, but it's very common for our generation. I actually read an article where 40% of quote unquote millennials in the US moved back in with their parents during the past year because of COVID. And
100%. There's this new song that was released by this TikTok creator, and I forget her name. I'll insert it somehow in a voiceover, whatever. So the artist I'm talking about here is MB Hold. She has a following on TikTok. I've linked her in the show notes. Go check her out. Editing Sam over. Back to the conversation. Anyway, she released this song called Groundhog Day, and it's all about moving back in with her parents.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I think that that's just a whole... And, like, it blew up on TikTok. Like, everyone's like, yeah, I had to move back with my parents to save money. Or, there was no point in me staying at my university dorm, so I just moved back home.
Yeah.
And it was the same with me. So when our second outbreak came, my parents offered, and they said, do you want to move back? And I said no, mainly because I was close enough to them and farther enough away from them that like I could keep sane. And at the same time, I still had like that family support network.
Absolutely, I know how that goes.
But like, if we had another lockdown now, I would go crazy. I don't know what I would do. I think I would have to move back home
just for the simulation of people.
Period.
So through my job, I was offered the COVID vaccine here in the U.S., but like I had to like go to Maryland to have it in person. So as soon as I got that, I was like, wow, like, I got Moderna, so it was, which is 2 shots 4 weeks apart. So I knew, and like the timeline we use. So here in the U.S., the last Monday in May is always Memorial Day, which is kind of like the unofficial start of summer, even though the summer solstice is the 21st of June. So I knew that Memorial Day weekend, I wanted to be, and even though we moved back in with Zach's family, he's right on the water. It's beautiful here. And it's like his family is so opening with the space, but it was like, you know what? I want to be out in the water. I want to be relaxing. So I do not want to be moving at all that last weekend. So that kind of were our bookends. I knew I wanted to not be moving by the end of May, and our lease was ending on our rental in Pittsburgh right before then. And so then with my vaccine, I was like, I'm going to have to go to Baltimore anyways. I might as well take stuff with me. So we got a rental car and we packed up literally the first load of stuff I took in that rental car were just board games and books.
Just board games and books.
If
and
it gives you an idea how big of nerds we are.
There were like 12 boxes, and they were all full of board games and books.
But that was the first trip. And then, you know, the week that Zach was off, he was able, like, I had already planned this, but my only brother, is getting married this October. And so my future sister-in-law was having her bridal shower. So another first, like, I got on plane for the first time in over a year to go and visit them for the bridal shower. And I am so supportive, and this is why having, like, I could have never done this on my own. I've, like, always been bitter and thought I was going to be single and alone my whole life. But having Zach there to give me the weekend in the middle of moving to just like, no, go spend it, be with your family. And while he stayed home and packed boxes and did all of that was just amazing. So I just wanted to say thanks for being amazing, babe, and I love you. You're
very welcome, babe. I love you too. And I will hold the move over you whenever I need to win an argument.
Isn't
Careful there.
Isn't that just like how life works?
Yeah, pretty
much.
Like,
no,
like whenever I thank my siblings, they're like, "Yeah, you know, we're gonna hold this over you from now on in." I'm like, "Oh, come on!"
Nothing in life is free.
Right. So we moved a bunch of stuff over and over again, and by the end of it, we were just very tired. The house got like more and more vacant as the days went on. It was like a weird.
Things were actually working out.
It was working, but it was definitely like that last week. It was like Monday started, and it felt like a million years passed, and then it was Tuesday.
Yeah,
it was just, please let us be fucking moved now. I want it to be over.
Yeah,
so,
and that's what I find with like all tasks you have to do. It's like the last 10% is the worst.
Oh,
because
it's so true.
Yeah. In illustration, we call it, in any creative field, I feel this is true. The last 10% is a new 90%. Is always the way it works.
Yep. You find some flaw or some error that forces you, like I had an assignment that I did, and it was pretty much 90% there. And then I had to rewrite the whole thing.
Oh no.
Because I missed one tiny detail. I had to rewrite a 3,000-word feature article.
Oh no, Sam.
Oh no.
And then still got the same mark for what I originally handed in. And I was like, oh, you know what, I give up at this stage. But yeah, the last 10% is always the worst.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I went with moving all at once this time, because it knew that there was no room for the last 10%.
Yep, it just had to get shoved. Had to get shoved in there on the end. It can only take up as much space as it's supposed to.
And hold on, I'm sorry, I need to turn down my phone.
Yeah.
I think that both, and this, we're circling back, I think the approach is valid for both reasons. And, you know, I think you have to take it circumstantially. Like, some people can afford to spread it out like we did, and others are like, nope, we just gotta do it all at once. And you just avoid that last 10%. I just knew that no matter how much we planned, and like I don't think my anxiety for like with everything I'm doing with my new job and like moving across state lines and plus doing it with family and everything else that we'd already gone through the past year being in quarantine, I was like, I can't do this all at once. Like, I need to spread this out because if I do it all one weekend, I know something's going to go wrong. And if it does, there's going to be the one thing we forget to plan, and I'm just going to break down and like can't afford that to happen.
So the planets are slowly aligning. Everything is going relatively smoothly. The days are achingly dragging by.
We're probably halfway through the move by this point.
And Wednesday, the Wednesday before we are set to move to Baltimore that weekend, our internet dies.
Oh no, it was not the Wednesday before.
Oh,
it was a Thursday. It still doesn't matter. It was like a week before.
It was a week before.
Yeah.
Our internet just goes out. Just goes out one day. And she was in the middle of a freaking call. She had to like literally jump in her car and like go to Panera. And she spent like 3 hours at Panera that day while I sat on the phone with Verizon. it was just it was asinine. It was like and then we had to jump in the car and we had to pick up the
rental truck.
The rental, that we were taking like that weekend, to make the third trip or the second trip.
No, this was the third trip.
This was the second trip.
Oh, it was. You're right. It was.
Whatever. It was a trip.
It doesn't matter. We're just trying to. Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
So, I have a job interview that day at noon, and I have to basically message them on my phone and go like, I don't think I can be there for this. My internet's down. Like, can we please reschedule? He's like, sure, no problem. We'll reschedule. It's no big deal. Of course, never heard from them again. Followed up, all that stuff.
That's terrible.
So Verizon, I'm on the phone. I'm waiting to talk to someone. I'm a little bit tense because they just cost me a job interview, and I guess bless the hearts of the people that took my call, but this was such a shit show. Like, I'm gonna sound like
the fact that the internet went down in the first place, like, it's just not on.
Well, the reason it happened is because the people that were moving in, the tenants moving in after us, had submitted a request to have the internet start in their name, but they wanted it for like a whole month later.
Yeah,
and at Verizon,
June.
It was like a clerical error. They messed up the dates.
It was June 28th is when they wanted their freaking internet turned on. And it wasn't even anywhere near ours. And I guess when that call went through, like I said, I'm going to sound like Charlie in the mailroom in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia trying to fucking explain how this happened. But it seems like when Verizon got the new request, they were just like, oh, well, I guess that means that nobody's in there now. Just shut it off right now. Which...
Not on. Just not on.
Such a fucking crazy thing to assume. Why would you think that the landlady would have the apartment vacant for 2 entire months? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so I'm trying to talk to someone. I'm trying to talk to her and figure out what she can do, and she they can't turn it back on. They can't just fucking turn it back on for a week and a half. And I know that if I had sat there and been caring about it for long enough, someone up the fucking chain at the top of the Verizon gods would have been like, oh, look at that. We can hit a switch and turn your internet back on for a week. Sorry, sir. But I wasn't willing to go through all that suffering. So, essentially, yeah. I was told a thing. I was literally texting with the future tenant of our apartment that I had never met before. And it just, he calls Verizon to try to sort it out, and he's told a different thing. Like, he has to do a thing, but then I have to do a thing, and they contradict each other. So we literally have to get on a fucking conference call to call Verizon together.
Customer support nightmare.
So that the customer support agent can't just tell us 2 different things. No, that we're both on the call. What do you fucking, how are you going to fix this? And so... I had to open a new account with Verizon for like 15 days.
Well, TLDR, to Verizon, you can go suck a dick. And we got our internet back for the 2 weeks that we had to move there. And Zach had to open up a new account, which was pointless. But we survived the rest of the move.
Yep,
and
that's how it happened.
Yep.
That's terrible.
We had the friend zone
day.
the last weekend. We had another truck. We had the friend zone moving company come help us
with all the bulk of the stuff. They were wonderful, and it was the first time I had seen many of them in like
a year,
like probably over a year. Yeah,
which is what I think makes this move the hardest, and why I also recognize how lucky I am because, A, we're moving back in with Zach's family, who he left to Pittsburgh for, and B, leaving all of those amazing friends, behind that we hadn't seen in the past year because, COVID took that away from us.
It was a hard day.
Yeah.
Seeing all of their faces again and, just to leave.
Yeah. So yeah. I love you, babe. Thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
We're doing this so we can start our chapter. And hopefully in a year, we'll be we'll be coming on another episode of your pod, Sam, to talk about buying a house.
Yeah. Well, theoretically that's the logical next step, but who knows what happens from here? Like,
Oh, it was really hard. And you know what? The only caveat is that thankfully Pittsburgh is only 4 hours away. We're buying a new car hopefully soon. And we also have some of our good friends are getting married in October. So we definitely have like plans to go back and visit. And we are actually closer, to other friends. Like, I would argue like Jake is your best friend, your younger brother, Zach. So like, we're closer.
There's a bunch of trade-offs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm originally from here. I lived here several years after I got out of college, and I've known people here. I've met people here. I have friends here. But that Pittsburgh was my decision. It was like Pittsburgh was an entirely me idea to move to Pittsburgh. It was like a crazy, totally, it was like, have you ever watched Steven Universe?
not a lot, but a little bit, yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. But Garnet can see the future, but every once in a while someone will do something that creates this like fork in the road that just jumps the tracks. She can't see the future anymore. And
so like Loki.
Pittsburgh was kind of, essentially.
I love Loki.
Pittsburgh was one of those moments where like I jumped the tracks and I was just like, fuck it, I'm moving to Pittsburgh. I want to hang out with the friends I made over there and hang out, and it was good. It was a great period of my life.
Well, obviously I'm glad you made that decision, or else we would have never met.
That's true.
So, I mean, the Pittsburgh will always be the city where I made really good friends, where I met the love of my life, where I had my first job. And I also, when I moved to Pittsburgh, that was the same thing. I chose where I wanted to go to grad school. It was my first time moving far away from family. When I had gone to university for my first degree, it was kind of like you, Sam, like far enough from family where like I felt independent and like just felt like I could breathe, but still close enough, like 2 hours I could drive if it was an emergency or I needed to go home for the weekend, and it wasn't a big deal. So Pittsburgh for me was the first city where I was moving, where I didn't have family. I didn't really know anyone. And as scary as it sounded, it was also like my dream come true, because I got to like establish kind of whatever I wanted for myself. And it was my first city where I kind of came in, where I started #adulting and still trying to figure it out.
As soon as you said, you said a word and it made me trigger something, and then the memory's gone. That's okay.
My phone is at 69% battery life.
Nice.
I just want to share. I'm a little woozy. I just got my second shot today.
Yeah, Zach got his second and final COVID shot, so almost fully vaccinated. Yay. 2 weeks after.
Yes. So jealous.
Speaking of
I
adulting.
really want to get vaccinated. Yeah. But yes, no, my mum's family lives all over the city. So like I'm never too far away from like a support network. And what I would really love to do is do what my brother did. He was 17. He moved out of home at 17.
Wow.
I don't know how he did this. He turned 18, 2 weeks ago? And so he moved out and basically no support network. He had a couple of dad's friends still live in Alice Springs because that's where dad grew up. I feel like I've said that already. So, middle of the desert, middle of nowhere, all by himself. And that's what I kind of want to do, like just go.
Yeah.
It's this concept in Australian folklore. It's actually an indigenous concept. So the Aboriginal people have this concept of going walkabouts, and you go walking off, and you it's like kind of like a period of self-discovery. You go walkabouts and you come back as a better person in the end.
Familiar with that concept. I've heard of that before.
Yeah. So the idea of going walkabout is like something that I really want to do. Just, go away, experience life without a support system and come back, because I feel like I'll value it more when I come back to that support system.
Mm-hmm. My brother, Jake, went and hiked the entire Appalachian Trail when he was
just turned 18?
Just turned 18. Went and hiked the whole Appalachian Trail, just It took him, I think, close to like 4 months.
Yeah, it's like 1,400 miles or something like that.
And it's some of the most beautiful, like, mountain, like, East Coast country you've ever seen.
I think my father did a similar thing. I think he was 16 at the time. He was homeschooled, just as an FYI. That's why he could do stupid stuff like this. But he hiked from Melbourne through to Canberra.
See, the difference between these two stories is you have spiders the size of fucking teacup dishes and snakes that can kill you in a matter of seconds.
I really like hiking. I don't think I could hike that far.
I don't think we could either. But we also love hiking. And...
my feet would be bleeding in a week, and I'd be like, how am I supposed to do this for the next 3 months?
But you could do that in like 90 hours. So my dad and his brother and their mate tried to do this trail that you're supposed to do. I think it's 90 Ks in 24 hours or something like that. And they didn't do it in the end. But Dad was wearing the wrong boots, so he lost both the toenails on his feet.
Oh, God.
And like they had to make it back because Dad had to fly back in time to be at work. But yeah, his feet were completely wrecked, that one. He hikes all the time. It's crazy.
Wow.
They once went mountain biking, and they went over. So when you hike, so Mount Kosciuszko is the tallest mountain in Australia. When you hike Mount Kosciuszko, you go up one side and that's it. And there was big bushfires. It's called Black Saturday. And it was not to be confused with Black Summer, which is what happened right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But Black Saturday was these big bushfires in Victoria, and throughout the course of one day, it destroyed pretty much like half of the forests in Victoria. Oh, anyway, they were mountain biking down the other side, thinking that, it'd be still relatively thin. It was a couple of years afterwards. What they didn't realise is that when a bushfire comes through, and this is why the Indigenous population loves burning things, it actually grows back thicker and like more fruitful. And so they had to walk down this hill with their bikes above their heads to try to get down through this forest. It was just, yeah.
It was like Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji-esque. But yes, that's why you don't hike down or ride down the other side of Mount Kosciuszko. Although it is very beautiful. That one time I went.
I will make sure never to ride down that side of Mount Costco.
Kosciuszko.
Mount Costco. Where
it's Mount Costco now. We're renaming it.
Where all the toilet paper is.
Yeah, that's where we stockpiled all the toilet paper. That's why you guys got none.
Hey, you can sell that shit and be like a millionaire. Well, not maybe the time has passed, but
I don't know. Every time there is talk of a lockdown, every supermarket, no toilet paper. They limited it for 9 months.
You know what it is? I think it's a universal trait. So it wasn't just America. Usually it's America that's doing stupid shit. Well, it was all humanity.
There's this very infamous video of these two women fighting each other
over toilet
over toilet paper, and it killed the internet for like a week. It made it to the news multiple times, and it was just, and it is the sign of what COVID looked like in Australia. These two women in a Woolworths, which is a very Australian store now, the more I think about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap up.
I think so too. Yeah, this has been a great conversation though.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
So
moving sucks, but with friends it's not as hard. That's the lesson, I guess.
That's the lesson.
I think also we've learned, reasons for moving are diverse, and, it doesn't matter what point of your life you're in and how much you plan, moving is still really hard, but you do what works best for you, and you are happy when, we all can agree that the moment you finally collapse and are done, you realize, honestly, none of this is worse than the unpacking that we're going to have to do.
Yeah, the unpacking takes forever. I don't understand.
Unpacking is, in my opinion, almost worse than moving, but it's not as physical, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it's once the stuff is all here, the stress of getting it in one piece here is negated.
Yes.
We do this little podcast. It's called My Cabbages. It's fun. You should go listen to it. Don't stop listening to the show.
Should.
Keep listening to this show. But then
keep listening to this one and then go listen to it again.
Once you've had your fill of this show, maybe check out My Cabbages. It's an Avatar podcast. We do bits and goofs, and we review the episodes. Sometimes we get real serious in the feels. We've gotten real serious in the feels before.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon classic.
Yes.
Not the one about the blue people.
No, although that movie is very good.
I enjoyed it.
Is there anything I missed or any final thoughts?
I think I'm good. I think I just shared my last message.
I think so too.
For My Cabbages, you can find us on Twitter at CabbageCast, and you can also send us if 140 characters is not enough, you can send your thoughts to us at mycabbagecast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to plug, any media that you've been watching?
Ooh, good. Well, we did it earlier in the episode, Tiny Shoulders, which was the reimagining of Barbie. It's on Hulu. Highly recommend. But otherwise...
I'll plug Smash Bros. Melee, which is what I'm about to go play.
There you go. An old classic but goodie video game.
With the tube TV, because I ain't down with that freaking controller lag with the regular monitor.
And I'm going to plug the book that I'm currently reading, which is also apt for other podcasts on our network, but you should check out. I am almost done with the first Percy Jackson Olympians book, The Lightning Thief, which is actually really, really well written. And I told our friend Charlie, who's co-host along with Taylor of The Eldest Gods, the other pod you should check out. I was like, this book is surprisingly well written and is better than George R.R. Martin can write. So, you know what? Come at me, bro. But that's my read. I think my plug for this young adult novel is pretty good. So,
all right.
Yeah, you can find me at SamOBJournalist on Twitter and sam.the.journalist on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to plug Sam Fricker on TikTok. He's an Australian diver who's actually at the Olympic trials right as we speak, but he's got this really awesome side hustle, and so I really suggest go checking him out. He's on Instagram as well, I think on the same handle. That'll be all in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us, Sam.
Thanks
you're
so
wonderful,
much.
and we're so glad that you're part of our pod family, Movie Night Crew Network, and we can't wait to hopefully have you on My Cabbages soon. But you gotta watch the show first.
What?
Thanks again for having us. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Content and Capable. You can follow the podcast socials at Content, the letter N, Capable on Instagram and Twitter. You can send a super boring email to us through contentandcapablepod@gmail.com. The art was done by Opia. You can follow them on opia_art on Instagram. Opia is spelled OPIA. Feel free to message them about making art for your project. Our music was written, recorded, and edited by Nora Strauss-Riggs. You can find Nora at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. I'm proud to be a part of the Movie Night Crew Network, which features the Restricted section, a chapter-by-chapter Harry Potter pod with lots of spoilers all the time. The Movie Night Crew join some friends as they react to some terrible, some meh, and some really great movies. Fandom's Gone Wrong, a show that discusses all things fandoms. Of the Eldest Gods, a chapter-by-chapter Rick Riordan pod full of myths and legends. And My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Cabbage Cart Guy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An
Avatar podcast.
a weekly show about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne,
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics,
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
Subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Content and Capable is a podcast all about answering the question, how do you adult? Don't forget to rate and review it on your favourite podcatcher, and I will see you next Monday for another episode.
That movie sucked. I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
All right.
We're doing it.
We're recording.
So
The time streams are synced.
recording.
Don't anybody hit pause, and nary they ever shall meet again.